What's up, everyone? It's your host, Jonah. Welcome to the Blue Collar Enlightenment Show, where we learn new things every episode through conversations with guests around the globe. So hit that sub button so you can keep up with the journey. We welcome James Gebhardt, creator of myarchive.com, an online digital archival company preserving the legacy of loved ones and friends. James, thanks for coming on the podcast, bud. How you doing?
Oh, doing great. Had a little bit of snow. No big deal, though. Just keep cranking out.
No, I'm good with snow.
We don't get it too often up here. People get a little crazy up here. It snows a little bit, and then it freezes, and it thaws, and we get a lot of black ice.
You get a lot more rain than you do snow in Washington, huh?
It rains about, amount-wise, we don't get that much rain. They just kind of stretch it out over 8 months.
Yeah, nice little drizzle all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Drizzling
people would say,
mist.
Yeah, people would say, hey, we got 3 inches. And I said, we get like 3 inches every 6 months, but it's every single day that we get like 0.2 of an inch.
Daggum.
Yeah.
Well, tell my listeners a little bit about yourself.
I'm just a plain old guy. I used to be a journeyman electrician, and I've done things like I used to be a commercial photographer. I used to be a mechanic, and I got a couple grandkids, got a couple regular 2 daughters, and was just sitting back one day back in the 90s, and we went to visit my dad on road trip back home to Iowa. So we did the big road trip through I think it was through the Redwood Forest and through Yellowstone. And we got back there, and I was talking with my dad, and I set a video cam recorder up and just started asking him questions about his life. What did he do when he was a kid? Paperboy for many years, and he was drafted into the Korean War. Saved up enough money to buy his first car, which was actually 1 year newer than the car his dad was driving. This was when he was 15. Just little things like that, and had a great time learning about, your parents.
I bet you could get some very interesting stories out of your parents if you really digged.
Oh, gosh, yes. Yeah, they were hilarious. They were hilarious, some of the stories he had. And then, so I burned off, I think it was VHS back then in the 90s. I finally burned off a DVD. He passed away a couple years later. And then came the paper chase of how do you protect and save these memories. Because I thought they were pretty special of my dad. And then kids are growing up. Who do I give them to? What computer were they on? What hard disk drive were they on? Then I had grandkids. Well, then they got to have more copies of it, and they got to take care of it, and they're going to lose them. So I was just sitting back in my work van one day eating a ham sandwich, kind of sitting to myself, how can you have, out of necessity, I just started brainstorming in my brain on how to possibly do this. And for the next many, many years, because technology had to basically get caught up to where you can actually upload better.
Yeah.
And this kind of slowly pieced it together. And it's working really good now. So we're kind of really proud of it.
So how many people have you reached with sales-wise with this?
We still got under probably 100.
Nice.
But the thing about that is we have a huge curiosity with what we're doing. And I don't really, and I can see how it is very personal what we're trying to do by, saving people's emotions and their memories. And it's kind of a brand new frontier. It's kind of like somebody coming out to you and say, hey, you need this personal computer. And you're going, I don't know. This would be something like back in the 60s. You don't really need a personal computer until you really think, hey, maybe I can do something with it. So we have actually a huge following on our email listing and on good following on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. So we have a large following, and we're just kind of waiting for that bubble to burst to where it's just like, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. So, we just keep putting it out there.
I've actually been talking to my parents about doing it with them, and we're going to be doing it with my wife's parents as well, with her grandmother.
There you go.
We're gonna try that out ourselves and see what we can do with it. So how does the process take place?
Oh, it's extremely easy. For the basic MyArchive, you can get either a MyArchive lifetime account, or you can get a memorial account, which is less expensive, but it's usually for somebody that's passed away. And that all depends too. Like my brother, he passed away, and I really didn't have enough for him to even have a memorial account. So on my mother's account, I just made a folder for them. So there's only 200 or 300 things in there of them. I was not able to set him down because he lived far away from us down in Texas, where I could get some more video and audio of him. And we were actually on a trip to go down there when we found out he passed away. But
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
that
it was
tough to lose your brother.
Very simple to do. To get, you just go to myarchit.com and you can check out the different things it does, and you just hit trial. And what you do is you sign up for a 30-day free trial. No credit card information is taken. You can actually sign up. You get a life account for 30 days to try it out. Try posting things in it. Try to move things around and get more than one person. And you can find out how you can link life accounts back and forth to where you're sharing back. It doesn't automatically go to public. You get that. You want to show me yours, I'll show you mine type of thing. And so It's very private, and you'll kind of learn how it works. And after 30 days, if you like it, great, you just upgrade it. And if you kind of go, well, it reverts to a view only account. So it's still there. You just can't post anything to it.
Are you able to upload it onto a thumb drive if you wanted to?
You can upload individual postings, like an individual picture. You can download it.
Oh, so you can't just take the whole file and copy it onto a...
No.
Okay, I got you.
Best thing about that is I tell people you're going to have a lot of memories. Already have them backed up somewhere on a hard disk or a backup drive. We're kind of like the last arbiter that goes into archiving it, and each individual memory is uploaded, and then you put the memories to it like audio. You can tell a story to a picture. You can write a story to a picture. You get to choose where it goes, who gets to see it, public or private, and then you arch it, which is the same as upload.
So are you personally involved with every customer that you get?
No. Most of it's just online.
Okay.
And if they do have any trouble, they can hit contact. Like we had a gentleman that had, I can't remember what the situation. It was a weird little glitch thing when they were trying to sign up. Sometimes you push one button more than one time, and I was having the IT guys fix it. But they lived pretty close to us, friends of a friend's. And he was a gentleman that had stage 4 cancer. So I went over there, make sure everything was working good for him and stuff like that, kind of really hands-on. So if a person ever has a problem with it, you just hit contact us, and we'll contact you back, either call you or over email or whatever, and we'll make sure. Because every little thing, sometimes we're working with different browsers and things like that act differently. Trust me, I know that you got on one browser, hey, that works great. You go to another browser, well, this is kind of weird. It's just the nature of the beast.
Right. Google Chrome is better than Safari and all that.
Yeah.
Whatever they say. It's all the same to me. It's all the internet. So how pivotal has it been in people's lives that have started this little journey that they're going on with their loved ones and their family and friends?
Oh, that's hard to gauge because it's such people love it, and it's kind of a personal thing. It's kind of a personal hobby people take on. So you hear about some things, but you don't hear about a lot of it because they're putting personal emotions and they're just kind of clicking away at doing stuff. So you don't hear a lot, but I don't hear anything at all negative. And once in a while, I'll say I wish this little button was there. And I said, okay, we'll program it in. Then we change something, we make something better.
Well, hopefully you can get some good feedback and comments on that. So how much does the kit run per month?
Our basic lifetime account for 10 gigabytes. And what you do with the 10 gigabytes, that's worth, a couple thousand or more pictures and memories and some, so much video. And that's $119.95. And that's one time. So it's not a monthly thing because I kind of figure if a person buys it and let's say they're into it 6 months and they pass away, I'm not going to put somebody on a monthly budget, on a monthly payment. It doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm. I get you.
Yeah, or you can also hit a monthly payment for 12 payments of $10.95. So we try to make it affordable for everybody.
Where does it all go after it's said and done? Is there a certain company that you go through for all the storage?
That's a great question. What we do is we first go through our internet service provider, and our main one is Amazon Web Services. Our first line of backup goes through the office, through the IT guys, but then it also backs up through Amazon Web Services, which is where the main structure of the business is programmed. And then from there, we're going to reach a certain level to where we're also going to quadruple backup with a company called Iron Mountain. And if you've ever heard of them, they actually back up with about 95% of the Fortune 1000 companies. They're a company that backs up with banks. And they're actually positioned all over the world. So we're going to try to back up with more than one company that aren't even related to one another. So it makes it super secure as best as we can possibly do. And actually, eventually, what we want to do is they have these machines out called, I just call them, put them on ice. You'll eventually have people that have passed away and you might not get into their life account for some time. But they actually make archival DVDs, which are good for 100 years plus. And they have these big machines that actually run multiple DVDs, and they're actually rated for multiple petabytes. And we'll actually be able to put those people onto ice them, and then they'll be super secure. And we have put them on DVDs that cannot be overwritten, or they're good for 100 years if they're just sitting there spinning or doing nothing.
Interesting, because DVDs usually don't last very long when you play them a lot. But I could understand that this DVD wouldn't be played very much at all, really, just every now and again.
Right, and it's an archival DVD, so it is a special type of DVD.
Well, I didn't even know there was different types.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to start looking at, how do you actually save something for such a time? And any kind of a magnetic type of storage has an inherent fault.
Right.
So you try to get to something that can, and you never know. By that time, maybe in a couple of years, when we're at that stage and we're dumping over into maybe being able to do that, technology might have changed by then. We always we're trying to have reserve, because the amount of money that actually costs for your lifetime account, it's very little that actually costs to put you on to the lifetime account, because you're not going to use that 10 gigabytes all at one time.
Right.
It'll actually go over, most of the time it's going to go over many years for most people. So the actual extra money that goes, we're actually going to take a good amount of that, like 30 to 40%, and that goes into let's say it goes in the bank to diversify to where it's actually the interest we make off of that, or the capital gains we make off of that, actually pays for storage. So it can actually in perpetuity, it can actually just feed itself for the cost of what it costs for storage.
Oh, freaking awesome! So self-sustaining. That's amazing.
Yeah, So we don't have to do advertising. We don't have to do a monthly billing. It just doesn't make sense to do that.
This is something you obviously plan on passing down to your kids as a business model, correct?
To a certain extent. I don't, my kids don't know nothing about business.
Yeah. But
what we're a C corporation. We're a Delaware C corporation, which means we have stock and we can have stockholders. And eventually, we're a private company right now. You can go IPO. We can go public. And that's a million questions right there about, even Elon Musk doesn't go public on a lot of his stuff. Mm-hmm. He keeps everything as a private corporation. But then you can also run a business. The board of directors runs the business. Mm-hmm. The shareholders just basically vote in the board of directors. And then you also have a business trust where you can actually have the trust that actually runs the business, because we don't need big buildings. We don't need, a lot of employees and things like that, because Amazon Web Services is what they call virtual servers. We don't have a big room full of servers. Everything is done with Amazon Web Services. And they have multiple backups. So that's why they're number one.
So how can people access it after it's all said and done? Is it just an app that you can get on your phone?
You can do it one of two ways. You can either use just a browser. Let's say you're in the Google or Safari or whatever. You just hit myarchive.com. You hit log in, and you log into your account. They're using the browser that way.
Okay.
Or if you're on your account, you can actually go to the Android app store and get the mobile app for Android. And we have a little bit of a situation with Apple where they're not letting us do our mobile app with them.
Well, it's always Apple's got a freaking. I really can't talk shit about Apple. They might take my podcast off of Apple.
I know that's I always kind of go. I'd like to dig into more of that, but it's like kind of like going. I don't want to mess you guys up with Apple because I know you guys got an Apple podcast.
Oh, I don't even care because Apple it accounts for literally nothing of my numbers, so I don't even care what Apple has to say about me.
Yeah. Well, Apple has they got a program called Augmented Reality Kit, ARKit.
Okay.
And our program, our website's My ARKit. We've had that name out there for probably 10 years or more. Mm. And we actually have the MA marketed under My ARKit. We have a trademark on it even through the federal government. And we have multiple multiple, social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all those things are all under My ARKit. Mm. And Apple, they said, oh, you want to do a mobile app? Okay. And every time we ask them, can we start programming it? And they sit there and go, oh, it's illegal. And this has been since February.
Well, maybe we can cause enough stir talking shit about them to make them hurry up the process.
Oh, just let us do it. Just let us do the mobile app for Apple. I have Apple myself. I have Apple iMac. I have Apple phone. It slows me down, but it doesn't stop me because I can still just plug my phone in. I download the pictures that way into my iMac. And then I just kind of throw things over into different folders. I open up my Lifetime account and I hit upload and they just drag it over. So it goes pretty quick, but you got 2 or 3 extra steps there that you don't have to with the mobile app.
How has it evolved since you started it?
We done some tweaks. We made the website look a little bit better, or the main website. We always try to take feedback from the customers. One of our first customers was a nice little old lady who was, I can't even know where she was from, but she kind of said, oh, I wish you guys could do this and could do this. It's just like, you got it. We programmed it in. So the little bitty tweaks here and there, I said, I wish we had this. I wish we had that. Maybe make this, something. So we always try to make things better. And then one day I wasn't eating a ham sandwich, but I was probably eating something. Pizza or something. And another revelation came to me to where we have a new service called Events.
Okay.
Events.myarkit.com.
What does that entail?
Oh, that's going to be the fun one. Imagine events is any kind of an event. So it could be like a wedding, a yearly thing, going to Sturgis, going to college, maybe high school I have a high school yearbook. Mm-hmm. Okay, I used to be a high school photographer way back a million years ago. And everybody's going around clicking pictures and doing things. And you always look through the yearbook and stuff like that. Hey, there's a picture of me, but you don't know 90% of the other people that are in the yearbook. Or if you go to a wedding, remember how you had the little individual camera set on the tables?
Yes.
Right. So everybody kind of takes a picture here and there, and they collect it, and they process everything. And then you really don't get to see what's going on. They make a wedding album, or sometimes they might put it online. So what we did is we take the same concept to where you can buy 10 gigabyte Lifetime account, but it's a 10 gigabyte event. And then it's generated, and the code is generated, or a QR code is generated, and you can put that on, say, your wedding invitation. Ooh. And they get the wedding invitation. All they do is they go click. It goes to the invite. They can sign up for a participant, and total no cost to the participant. And it's like having a view-only account on My ARKit. And now everything they have on their phone, where they can take a picture, they can record all the things that's happening with that event. Everybody gets to participate, and it goes to one place, to the event owner. They moderate what gets put back onto the website, to their event, and then everybody can sit there and go to that event and see everything that's happened. Huh. Everybody gets to participate, not just the wedding photographer. It could be everything from the bachelor party, bachelorette party, picking the dresses out. All that gets to be put into the event. Maybe not all the bachelorette nor the bachelor party.
Yeah, I was about some of it. I don't know about that bachelor and bachelorette party. That's we got to keep that out of everything.
Well, that's why we have a moderator, so we make sure what goes into the event. Well, even Yeah, even like in college, you have years of colleges and you have your friends, your clique or high school where you're running around. You can have your own little, say, yearbook or college yearbook or whatever of your friends and your events and your memories and stuff like that.
That's awesome. And you can have them do the videos. That way you have it in different perspectives and different comments and things like that. That's pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, you take one little picture of the wedding or something like that. You really don't get much from it, but imagine taking a picture and then somebody talks about, oh, I can remember when blah, 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 blah. They can go on for 5 or 10 minutes about a story to that picture, and it makes it a whole bunch different.
Yeah. Yeah. That's freaking genius. A shared folder for everybody to go through because everybody's got a camera phone these days.
Oh, that's right. Everybody's got a phone.
Everybody loves to video something for some reason.
That's why we have a moderator.
So what does the future hold, in your opinion, for myarkit.com?
Oh, I want to take over 1% of the world.
Like Pinky and the Brain, why don't you just take over the whole world?
Yeah, well, I got to start with 1%. I got to start somewhere.
The other 99 will fall into place.
Yeah. If we get things rolling and everything's looking good, we're getting the numbers coming in, the next big tweak I want to do is adding Spanish.
Okay.
Because that's the next big, basically, language we have in the U.S. here. And then I got to figure out how we can actually start going into other languages and other regions. And that gets a little bit more technical about it. You can't just, you can do a .com, but sometimes you got to do like a .br for what was it? A GR for Germany, or
UK,
BR is Brazil.
UK and all that good stuff.
Sometimes you got all these little things. So I would love to be able to have this in more than one country and more than one language. And that would be where it would be great to be able to do 1% of North and South America and then move over into like Europe, Asia type things like that, to where you just give people the opportunity to do what we're doing.
Yeah, because
if we can get 1% of the world, maybe within 20 years, we'll go 2% of the world.
And then next thing you know, this thing is going to be catching on like wildfire.
Yeah, it's only like, what is it, 7 point some billion people on the earth, and 4 point some odd billion of them are online.
So when people go through and they sit down, is there like questions that you provide to ask for people to sit down and like interview their parents or their grandparents and things like that?
I've had that more than one time come up, and that's one of those extra little things we want to do, to where if you click on upload, you upload a video or a picture, or you can do what they call a daily scribe, which is basically you can type something in or just do an audio. And I want to be able to have another button there to where it might feed a question to you.
That'd be interesting.
And yeah, that's not in the works, but that's in my wish list. Same thing with Family Tree. I want to be able to have the capability of being able to link people together as a family tree, as a family, and being able to follow in that perspective.
And then the whole family just keep adding on and adding on and adding on and adding on.
And that gets into another service we're going to have in the future. And that's called Time Tag.
National Time. Let's get into it.
Yeah. Time Tag is where, now you're getting my brain going. Time Tag is where, let's say, you ever watch that movie Secondhand Lions?
I love that movie.
Yeah. Remember the talk he gave to the guys?
Yep.
The talk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Imagine you're linked up with a family tree somehow, and then you basically do a time tag to everybody that turned 16 years old, let's say, or 21 years old, or 18. And all of a sudden, when they turn 18, boom, there comes up your little video or audio message giving them the talk. And this might be 50 years, 100 years in the future.
Wow.
You can time tag people into the future if you wanted to.
I'm going to give the talk to my great-great-great-grandson.
Another thing we want to do is, I don't even think I've given it a name yet, but like a badge.
Mm-hmm.
Where you have a QR code, but you have a badge that can be, let's say, laser etched. And you can go out and put it like on a tombstone or on a memorial or other things like that, where somebody can come up to it with their phone or whatever, and like a QR code, you just scan it and boom, it's going to bring up that person's life.
Wow.
It's going to bring up their life account. You're going to go out to some place and you can actually see what that person, get information right from that person right there.
That's interesting, because there are people out there that go they just go through cemeteries looking people up and researching them.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of those videos on YouTube, and there's some interesting people that you would never hear about in history ever. And they did some of the most crazy things. Like, I believe there's a dude, I want to say it's in the northeastern part of the United States, where he has a window that you can still see him. It goes down like 30 feet and you can still see his cranium.
in his grave?
Yeah, because he was scared that he was going to get buried alive, and so he had a window put at the top of his grave, to that way the grave.
Oh, wow!
The graveyard guy would come by and look down in there with a flashlight with his lantern to see if he was still alive.
You know where they came up with the term "dead ringer"?
Yeah, so what is that, when people were buried and they had a string hooked into the casket and they had a little ringer at the top? Oh my God, could you imagine? Could you imagine 1 o'clock in the morning on a misty night just hearing a ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling? Oh,
well, if I was a kid, that's what I'd be doing on a cold, misty night. I'd be out there ringing them, just running off.
Could you imagine those kids sitting off in the woods, and then all of a sudden there's 4 guys running through the dark with shovels to dig up a dead body that didn't even do anything?
Trying to figure out which one's the dead ringer. Which one rang? Which one rang?
Or being that kid that runs around, just ding-ling over here and then over there and then back over here. Oh my goodness, the fun I would have had. Days. That would have been great.
As speaking of, if a person has their lifetime account, when they set it up, they also set up what they call their executor. You'll find out when you set up your accounts, at the bottom it'll say executive. You send an email over to somebody else that has an account, and they become your executor. So if this person does pass away, they have the permission to go to your account and kind of flip a switch, basically, and your account becomes a memorial account.
Oh.
And that means everything that you put into your account is locked. It can't be deleted or edited. But more stuff can be put into your account for like condolences and other memories.
It can just keep. Are you able to take one person's account and link it into the executor's account?
Well, the executor can have. They can start off with a basic account. It could be just a view-only account, or it could be a lifetime account. That doesn't matter. They just have to be linked together on MyArkit somehow.
Okay.
Yeah, and even a good thing with MyArkit too. Let's say you can create albums. Like I got an album for pets, cars, the important stuff, family, and you can go over to another account, like my mom's account, and she can sit there and link up with the albums. You can link them. You can link it together, and now she gets to see anything I put into like my pets account. She can see that in an album that's linked over to her account. Yeah, so you can. It's like kind of like if you had a grandmother and you had a bunch of grandkids, and everybody gets linked to grandma. You don't have to. Everything kind of goes to, let's say, the kids' account album, and she can just get on her account and bring up the news stories and the news stuff like that. And it's very private. It doesn't go anyplace else.
Man, it's like having a whole attic of stuff that's just not as messy.
Yeah. Yeah. None of the remarks, no likes or dislikes. And you don't get censored. So we're not sitting there, going through every little thing going, wow, he might've said the him word or something, or the she word or whatever.
Right. It's yo's and yo's only. So what certain type of extra features can you add to it to make it a little more like user interactive, I guess you could say?
We give it enough flexibility where you can, you get to choose who you get to share with. You can create albums. You can even create a group of people where if you want to just send it to a group, it just goes out to the group. It's not even an album. So we give a lot of flexibility there.
So is there an option for, like to do an interview style thing to where you can sit? Well, I guess you just do it anyway. I don't even know why I'd ask you that question. You just sit down and just hit record.
The best thing I like to do is I get my phone. Most phones, especially like my Apple phone, which is, I think my wife has it too on her Android, is sometimes I'll go out walking the dog and I'll just think of something going like, when I first see Star Wars or my first concert or my first car, and you just hit record and I'm just doing an audio story. And you can do the same thing with, you sit grandma down or something like that. And you just kind of start talking with her and you just do a question. You just kind of ask things. And I say, oh, grandma, that's a great question. You just kind of turn on the recorder and try to get her thoughts.
So it's like having your own personal podcast about your family.
Yeah. It's literally like having an audio, video, photo album.
Right.
That is family related. And when a person does pass away, remember I said that you can switch it over to a memorial account, but each individual item you upload, because we make everybody do one item at a time. Mm-hmm. You can't just upload a whole bunch, because what happens is they don't put memories to them. They just upload a bunch of stuff and they never get around to it.
Right.
We make them make that memory, put it to it, and they put it there. And if a person, you get to choose each individual posting, you can put it as private or public.
Okay.
Private means only the person that's making the posting can see it. So it'd be like, I buried the gold out in the back 40 underneath that one dead pig, something like that. But when a person passes away, anything that's private becomes public, because we figure somewhere down the line, there might not be anybody left in that lineage. And you still want to be able to maybe have somebody look you up.
So what had been the most enlightening moment of your journey so far?
It's the people that you meet that you wish they would have had an account. People like a guy I used to work at a gas station back in the 80s. He worked behind the counter, an old guy with an oxygen bottle. And I talked to him one time, and come to find out he was a B-17 pilot in World War II. Or the lady we showed one time at a meeting group, and we were talking about businesses and stuff like that. And she understood what we had, and she kind of wished she would have had that account because her husband had died, and now she's bringing up her two kids without a dad. But there's a whole bunch of memories and stuff that are lost. Just a picture here, a picture there, but nothing that he could have been actually saving stuff in his life account for years and years and years and years. And at least they'd be able to go back and see what dad was really like.
Yeah.
But it's some of those things that I wish we would have had. Like my brother, I wish I would have had audio and pics and stories of him. He could tell a good story.
So how long has My Archet actually been rolling? When did you roll it out?
It would be a little over a year ago. We rolled it out, and then we started testing the wind. Would do this, do that. Okay, this isn't working right. Let's go ahead and redo this, do that. And we kind of revamped, and everything is kind of really tweaking by June of this year.
Okay.
We had a lot more of it really nailed down, and now it's probably 99% nailed down.
So where can everybody find you? And obviously it's myarchet.com. Is there any other websites that you have for this?
Events with an S, events.myarchet.com.
Okay.
Yeah, we kind of did that as a subdomain website. Actually, if you go to that one, it's actually a good website to go to, because when you can push the button that says take action, it'll do the different things of what events can do for you. But then it also has a link over to myarchet.com. It's links and all the different things MyArchet can do for you. So actually, that's a good spot to start is events.myarchet.com.
So what kind of guarantee can you give people that, it won't disappear within, I guess we could call it just the matrix?
Oh, in the matrix. The only guarantee I can give, well, that's even in the fine print type of thing. We can't 100% guarantee it, but we get we found the best internet service provider, AWS, Amazon Web Services, and they give us their best guarantee, but always in the middle fine print it said, we could be hit by a nuclear blast and we can't really guarantee it forever. And that's why we're going to try to actually back up everything, even with a total separate company and total separate regions of the country. So we're going to try to do as much as we possibly can to have this backed up for a long, long time.
Well, that's amazing. That's something that everybody would love to hear.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming on the podcast. I appreciate you coming on. You're always welcome to come back on. I'll probably reach out to you again after I get through this with my parents, because I'll probably have a crap ton more questions.
Cool. Yeah, it would be like a follow-up. We just got on MyArkit and, we've experienced it, and, what's the easiest way to put pictures into it or that, I always like to take feedback on the best way to do certain things.
Heck yeah, man. And we'll definitely keep in touch. It's been awesome talking with you. I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, Jonah.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. You can find us at our website, thebceshow.com. Go check it out and contact us and subscribe. But remember to give us a rate and review. Helps the podcast with that pesky algorithm. Thanks for listening.